right, Sonic the Hedgehog. Where do we even begin? There's so many places to start. All right, so Sonic the Hedgehog 2020, originally 2019. Thank God that did not fall through. So we have a delay, as we all know, because of the messed up animation that they did Sonic. They made my boy look like Igor, and it was atrocious. And as we all banded together as a community and told them, no, this is not our Sonic. How dare you even attempt to create such a masterpiece and destroy it so easily? Luckily for us, the powers that be came together and they fixed him and they remade him. And when that trailer came out, as you can see, I was there for it. And if you look through my other trailers, card up there somewhere. And I was actually looking forward to it now, just because of the way he looked, simply because of the way he looked, if nothing else. Because, I mean, it's a must.
As far as non-spoilers go, I just gotta say that there's nothing entirely incredibly new here about this movie. We've seen this movie a dozen times already. It just is two different people from opposite sides of life meeting each other and having to band together to save the world. One's not into it and is not trying to get involved when the other's like, you have to get involved, it's your part, it's your responsibility, or it's your fault, or however these things may go. And then it turns into a road trip where they have to eventually bond and, like, you know, get to know each other and, you know, friendship and talk no jutsu, all that fun stuff or whatever. We've seen this a dozen times in movies, anime, cartoon, all that stuff. This is nothing new here. So don't be all that surprised. Don't go in here expecting it to be new. It's a Sonic movie. It's a video game movie. Expect it to be just that.
After discovering a small blue fast hedgehog, a small town police officer, aka Cyclops, aka James Marsden, however his name is, Nick, he's Cyclops as far as I'm concerned, must help it to defeat an evil genius who wants to do experiments on it. That would be Dr. Robotnik, also known as aka the infamous, the great, the mighty, the hilarious Jim Carrey. You know what? Even if they never fixed Sonic's look, thank God they did, but even if they never fixed it, I still would have been all in just because of Jim Carrey alone. I figured he was going to carry the movie, and to be quite honest, to my surprise, he didn't necessarily carry the movie. He actually just helped build the movie and make it just, it made it more interesting having him in there. Ben Schwartz, who was the voice of Sonic, hilarious, great. If I never knew Jaleel White or any other voice actor that I've never cared about or paid attention to play Sonic, this would be my new Sonic for like live action straight up. Like, he was a good Sonic. He was an absolutely incredible Sonic. So Ben Schwartz, good on you, my good sir. His banter between him and the cop, James Marsden, aka Cyclops, Tom, I don't know his last name, I'm gonna call him Swatowski. Tom Swatowski, the sheriff of that town. And just by the way, the name of the town is Green Hill, not Zone. So the fan service in this movie is incredible. There were so many things to call back on. There were so many things where I'm like, oh my gosh, you guys know what you're doing here, and I can appreciate that as a Sonic fan. Green Hill Zone, the warp rings, which I complained about initially because I was looking at the trailer and I was like, so warp rings are out here just creating portals to other areas and other dimensions and things like that. When was this a thing? Duh. It's always been a thing. It's never not been a thing. Every time you beat the game, after collecting all them rings and stuff like that, even if you never collected any rings and you lost them all at the end, there's a whole gigantic warp ring that's going to take you to another level that's not on that planet anymore. So yeah, that would be about right. And I can appreciate that because that's actually smart. I didn't even think about that until way later watching the movie, and I was like, you know what? This warp ring thing makes sense. They're onto something. And then it was really cool. It was really cool. I appreciate it that much, and I apologize for my complaints on that. I'll be the first to say it. Everybody pretty much played their role to a T. There was nobody in here that had a role that I didn't honestly like. Even his wife, I thought it was a girlfriend, but wife, Tom Swatowski's wife, Tika Sumter. Oh my God, she is so fine. Oh my goodness. I actually enjoyed this movie. I try to be as unbiased as possible. Going in, I wasn't sure how I liked this movie. I had a lot of questions that I clearly couldn't answer because I needed to see the film to judge accordingly, obviously. So I had to wait for the film to come out, and it's out. And now that I've seen it, I feel some of those questions have been answered, and then there's just some things where it's just kind of like left open to interpretation. But the way they left it is kind of like, okay, maybe there'll be something more later on. Like I'm hoping so, but I'll discuss that in the spoiler review that I'll do after the weekend is done. Big thanks to the creators and the teams responsible for putting Sonic's visuals together, because that remake of Sonic's looks fantastic and made the film that much easier to settle into and digest. It's much easier to enjoy the movie and unfortunately nitpick at other things and focus on other things without having that ugly rough draft version that we had the first time to distract me, because that would have been a huge distraction otherwise. If they had that first version of Sonic that we had in there, this movie would have been unbearably unwatchable. It would have been terrible.
Everything came together, but having Sonic look like that as often as he was on screen, it would have completely destroyed the entire film, because it would have been hard to get past that. Like eventually you'd probably be like, okay, I've seen it enough to finally kind of get over it. But by then it's like the end of the third act, and you're just kind of like looking at your watch, looking at your phone, trying to figure out like when is this gonna be done? Like how long has this been? Has it been close to an hour and a half? Has it been close to 2 hours yet? Because I'm ready to go now. But I paid money for this, and I don't want to leave. I definitely would have felt that way, but that's just me. Who am I? I'm just a black guy.
Jim Carrey as Dr. Robotnik, if I didn't already say enough about it, genius. It felt like the Liar Liar, Ace Ventura feel of Jim Carrey from like the 90s to the early 2000s. Probably not 2000s. I don't think he really did much of anything like that in the 2000s. We'll just stick with the 90s version of Jim Carrey with Ace Ventura. That was nostalgic, and I loved every little bit of it. He was such a dick, but in a very comedic way. Like, he very much found a way to belittle you and made you feel inferior because you were. And that's the crazy thing about it. His technology, his advancements, the way he figured out all these things that nobody else could figure out, even stick a finger on, even close to it. He figured it out in like a matter of seconds. His technology was crazy. Ooh, I don't think I've heard anybody talk about this, but yo, I appreciate the fact that he controlled his little devices on his like little glove hands or whatever. Well, you know what? Save that for the spoiler. If you want to know more about that, I'm gonna have to talk about it in the spoiler section. Y'all gonna have to wait for that one, so stick around for that for sure. But just know that was so dope. That was so raw, and I can't wait for this to come out on DVD. Surprisingly enough, I gotta tell you, this is probably one of the better video game movies that's been created, because there's been a bunch of them, and they were not. They don't do well. There's probably maybe like, I want to say 3 that I like, but to be quite honest, I don't think I do. What we got? We got Sonic. Yes, that could stay. Detective Pikachu. Meh. I don't even care. It was okay, but there was just so much ridiculousness that was going on in that movie that I couldn't overlook it. It was way too corny and way too cheesy for me to just be like, yeah, that was a good one. Meh, nah. And I remember when I reviewed it, it did not have a good rating on my end, so, you know, whatever. God. Doom. Trash. What was the movie with another video game movie with The Rock with the animals? Oh my God, what was that movie called? Was it Rage? It was Rage or something like that, with the George the gorilla and the crocodile and Negan from The Walking Dead and stuff like that. Whatever that movie was, man, I'm gonna give that a thumbs down on that one too. That wasn't that great for a video game movie or whatever.
What else was there? Super Mario Brothers. Old. Even for it to be that old, it was still kind of garbage. It was cool as a kid, because you didn't know no better. But as you get older and you watch it again, you're like, oh, yo, they cheated us. They cheated us big time with this BS production. How did you get away with this? Did they do good back then? I feel like it did good just because it was Super Mario Brothers and it was a movie and that was the only one. And this is before the days of social media where everybody can riot and complain in mass amounts. So maybe, I don't know. but that was trash. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say as far as Scott Pilgrim. Scott Pilgrim to me is probably the only other one that's good aside from this one. But other than that, yeah, no, video game movies they usually are trash. Go figure. Tron might not be. I don't remember Tron enough to be like, was this good? You know what? No, it wasn't. It wasn't good to me. I didn't like it. I take it back. I didn't like Tron. Sorry.
Well, all in all, case in point, this movie was amazing. I loved it. I loved the cast. I loved the plot. I loved the storyline. I loved the direction that they went in with it. The visual effects were great. There was a lot of moments where, if I had to nitpick anything, that was kind of bothersome. It was fast-paced. Go figure. A movie about a guy who moves fast as the movie moves fast. To me, it looked like there was a lot of areas where there was a lot of like scenes that they could have picked from and that they did that wasn't going to fit well in the movie. So what they ended up having to do in the end of it all was cut a lot of things out and smush it together because there was so much stuff that was detailed that was left over there, that was left over there, that was left over there. And they were like, yeah, nobody will notice, it's fine. It's mostly geared towards the kids, even though some of the adults are gonna be there. Wrong. It's a lot of adults there. There was a lot of adults in my theater. There was like a few sprinkles of kids, and they were quiet. I was fairly surprised and quite pleased. But aside from that, there was the pacing was too fast because it felt like there was areas that was skipped. More than likely because it actually was areas that was actually skipped. Like there was things that happened, and I'm like, okay, but what happened here with that? Well, what happened here with that? Why is this happening all of a sudden? Like it sped by way too quick, and I wish they could have took their time with it. But that's what happens when you have an $85 million budget on a movie, and you spend how many, like 4 or 5 months redoing your mistake too? I'm sure they had to get paid extra for that, and that probably came out the budget. I think. I don't know. I have no idea how they do these things, but either way it goes, for $85 million movie, estimated, by the way, there's probably a lot of things that they couldn't fit in there for the sake of the plot, but the way it was set up, it was still fine. If you're not that big of a nitpicker, then you'll still love it, I think, especially if you're an avid Sonic fan, I think. I know I am, so I like I said, I loved it, but for me, I'm gonna give this one, Sonic the Hedgehog 2020, a 9 out of 10. Like I said, it would have gotten a 10 just if the pacing was a little bit better. But I know they probably couldn't do that. But even still, you know, I gotta be fair. There's a lot of things the movies probably couldn't do. Look at Justice League. But yeah, 8 out of 10. No, what? 8, 9, 9 out of 10. So that's how I felt about that movie. I definitely recommend you guys go check it out. It was a fun film. You could take the kids. You should take your kids to go see this film. Yeah, just enjoy yourself. You know, it's a good time. It's a good time. It's a good movie. The chemistry between everybody is really good. It's not even all that awkwardly placed. I hope that they continue with it because it's so much more that they can build off of this, and I'll talk more about that again in the spoiler section, in the spoiler video, whatever. But right now we're spoiler free, so I'm trying not to give too much information away. But I hope you guys enjoyed. Go check out that movie. If you have seen it, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Please be considerate and try not to spoil anything for anybody else that hasn't seen it. Make sure to follow me on my socials. Links will be in the description below, especially my Twitter, which I will place right here. And thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, especially if you're new here. Don't forget to like the video more than anything else. And again, go check out this movie. Go check out Sonic the Hedgehog 2020. It is worth the watch. If you are a video game nerd, if you are a comic book fan, if you are just an avid Sonic player. I've had a lot of days where I just sat and played Sonic on my Sega. I had 1, 2, and 3. And eventually I ended up getting the Spinball when it had like the 5 to 15, 20 games in one thing or whatever. And it's just a lot of memories for me. I loved it. So I can't wait to see more of what they do with it, if they do anything more with it at all. Because, you know, I've been disappointed by a series that I thought was good, and they should have went further with it, but then they didn't. Jumper. But, you know, what do I know? Apparently, I don't know nothing about nothing, because I'm just a black guy. So until then, you guys, thank you for watching, and until next time, I will be here telling it like it is.